All right, everybody, welcome back to the Tailgate Kings. We are here again with another special interview for you guys, another Pro Wrestling 225 interview for you guys. And this time, we have an old friend of the show, an old friend of other shows that we've done in the past before. He is the former general manager of Pro Wrestling 225. We've got our good boy, Michael White here. Mike, what's up, bro?
All good, bro. My time, your dime. But speaking of that, one quick sec. Did you send the money to the Cash App? Because I ain't doing like
Hold on,
they
let me check just to make sure.
they
Ah,
pay.
all right, hey, it's coming through to you right now. Yeah, there you go. You're good. My bad about that.
Yeah, maybe a little extra. But yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
absolutely.
So
All right,
what's
so yeah, welcome to the show, man. I really appreciate you stopping by. Your time is valuable. We're gonna make good use of your time. I really appreciate you stopping in, of course, even though we go way back.
Did we buy 30 minutes? I can't remember how much we bought.
Well, we paid for the ultra premium
Oh, did we
package
get
that kind
did we
of
get
just
the
like,
hour? I
yeah, yeah,
mean,
yeah.
I know what we got. I couldn't remember how much we paid
I
for.
paid a little extra to make sure that we compensated fairly for his time.
All right, cool. I was just checking. All right, all right,
Yeah,
all right. Good.
absolutely. All right, well, look, dude, we're gonna get into it. I sent you an idea of what I was thinking about beforehand, so you kind of know where we're going with this. But yeah, let's start out by introducing you, telling for those of you who somehow don't know who this guy is, please tell them who you are, where you started in the business, maybe who trained you. Let us know a little bit about you.
well, in case you've been living under a rock, which is probably an upgrade from probably most of where y'all people live. My name is Michael White, representative of the South Louisiana right here. Let's see, been doing this thing for about 10 years now. Been running the game here long and strong. So yeah, I don't know what else you need to know because if you don't know me, you should know me.
Well, just for those of you at home, or for those of them at home that don't know who you are, or don't know a lot about it, your backstory, that have been living under a rock, who are you trained by? I know you said 10 years ago, but can you give us a little insight about your training, how you broke in? I guess if you want to use those terms.
Yeah, I'll dip and dab into that a little bit. So honestly, it's a crazy story because whenever I first started, I met up with the Mikes. And if you don't know who the Mikes are, that would be Psycho Mike and Mustang Mike. And I got in touch with them at a early age. And there was two other guys who had just started. They had two training sessions before me. And that just happened to be Wild Thing and Beautiful Bobby. Wild Thing didn't even have his name yet. I was there whenever they named Wild. So I didn't go back. I had some other things going on. I wasn't ready to get into the ring. But whenever I did, I went back a few years later and I said, you know what? I'm ready to do this. So I talked to Mustang Mike, dusty ass, and I talked to Mike Jowa. A lot of props to him. And yeah, I started my training then. I want to say that had to be around 2000, maybe 15 or something like that. But the business has always been in my blood. I'm a second generation wrestler. Like it's been in my family forever. I already knew what I was doing before I got in there. But in order to break into the scene around here, it's all about who you know. So I got in with them. I started training and then everything took off from there. But I really can't, I can thank the mics or whatever, being my wrestling dads or whatever you want to call them. I can thank them for bringing me in, but man, I've learned so much on my own from so many different people, just little things here and there. But if you want to start from the very beginning, I came from the mics, just like everyone else in South Louisiana, damn near.
Yeah, the mic's super, super prominent here in the States. I remember kind of around that same time when a good friend and I back in the day were looking at what it would really take to break into the wrestling business in any capacity, really, whether that be backstage or a wrestler. They all pointed to Mustang Mike. So no surprise. And I really appreciate you sharing that with us. Let's talk about some more of your backstory. Let's talk about a group that you used to arguably by some used to be the leader of. Let's talk about the Cajun Outlaws. Now, when I got involved in the wrestling business in the capacity that I was, the Cajun Outlaws were running the state. Were the most popular, the most talked about group in the state of Louisiana. It wasn't even close, to be honest. Talk to us a little bit about the Cajun Outlaws. What happened there? Shane, Tony, Rhett the Threat, and even the Junior Outlaw, if you want a little throwback. But yeah, talk to us a little bit about the Cajun Outlaws.
Yeah, I can start right here. But first, what I want to do is, Matt, I see you over there. You need to
Yeah,
be
I'm here.
focused right here. Yeah,
I'm
be
here, right here.
focused. Okay, got you. Yeah, we could talk about the Cajun Outlaws. We could talk about, cause see, everybody thinks that I'm such a jerk, and nobody thinks that I give back. I've given back so much. I've took my talents and raised other people up, and that's exactly what I did with the Cajun Outlaws. See, whenever I started the Cajun Outlaws, I was on the hunt. I was looking. I needed the most dominant. I needed the best wrestlers. I needed the best team that I could build. And honestly, if it wasn't for me, who knows what they would have been doing now? We'll start with Killer Shane. I was over there in GCW at the time, and Shane was over there getting his backside handed to him by guys like Bobby and all these other guys. I went in there and saved him. I basically took my hand, reached down, and took Killer Shane and brought him up to my level. Him and Tony. Because yeah, they've been around, but really, what were they doing? Who cared about Killer Shane and Pretty Tony before me? And then after I got the big muscle, the tank who could just run through everybody that I needed the best wrestler. So I looked all throughout the state. But I didn't just need any wrestler. I didn't want anybody who was just, peachy and everything was good and I'm such a great guy. No, I needed someone who fit the mold. And that's exactly who I found in Rhett the Threat. Retro Thibodeau from Karen Crow. And we all know the story from there. Same thing there. I reached down and I brought him up to my level. And then I made the Cajun Outlaw. Okay. And then from there, shout out to BJ. I needed to recruit the future. Because at the time I was looking to build, I was looking to grow, I was looking to make the Cajun Outlaws worldwide. So yeah, I recruited BJ and he was there for a while. I recruited all these guys. I brought these guys up to my level, and the rest is history from there.
Yeah, man. If you really look back at it and you think about the peak of the Cajun Outlaws, it was the perfect mix of charisma, strength, and technical ability. And then you throw in Tony on top of that to be the ultimate hype man for you guys. Seriously, dude, for a good 18 to 24 month stretch, you guys in the ring, on the mic, were untouchable. And it was, I'm really glad I was able to be a part of that because it was really fun. I mean, you guys' shirts were everywhere. Your bandanas were everywhere. Dude, from children to the grandmas in the building, everybody wanted to be a part of the Cajun Outlaws. It was really fun. So I just want to give you your flowers on that. So I just wanted to let you know.
I want to sit there and say something because everyone's like, well, what was Tony's role? Let me tell you what Tony's role was. The money. Because that boy had a lot of it. And
Yes.
Speaking of those T-shirts, we sold over 300 shirts.
Yeah. You guys were killing it, dude. You guys were killing it. Well, speaking of
what
killing
about
it,
modern history? We gonna move to modern history now?
Yeah. We're talking about modern right now. You see, Mike, let me ask for your forgiveness, please. Matt's a little new to the pro wrestling game and a little new to the nuances and the speed of how we roll around here. So again, man of valuable time, Matt, but we paid for the premium package.
That's
we
true,
take advantage of the time.
I'm just all curious about the 225 situation.
Well, that's okay because we're getting. Well, this is all
right.
225 history, but let's jump into the modern now because you talk about raising the game with the Cajun Outlaws. Let's talk about raising the game in the matches that you've had in 225. Let's talk specifically about a match that happened last year. Now, unfortunately, didn't go your way, but the steel cage match that happened between you and Wild Thing last year for Pro Wrestling 225. Now, again, didn't go your way, but I have to admit, even as someone who has respected your work ethic and respected your game in the wrestling business, I was live in person for that match, and some of the moves that you pulled out and the sequences that you guys were able to pull off in there, really a fantastic match despite the end result. Now, you were gone for a while because of that, and we'll talk about that in a little bit, but just talk to us about that match, the steel cage match, because 225 is notorious for making history with steel cage matches in the state of Louisiana. So talk to us about that steel cage match and how, despite the loss, that was for you.
Brother, I don't even think words can be put in to even begin to describe the feeling of being inside that cage. Like, it's one thing to be inside of a pro wrestling, ring, also to be standing across from, which could possibly be, the biggest pain in my ass in my career, so you have all that. But just to be inside that cell, just to be locked in there like a dog, like an animal, something that I was tricked into. Because if we want to talk about the story there, okay, I signed that paper, but I signed a match with Wild Thing. It was supposed to just be a one-on-one match, right? I signed the paper. He swaps the paper. It's a cage match, okay? Took me way out of my element. So I had to train. I had to get ready because, yeah, you can sit there and say, well, it's just a cage wrapped around a ring. But once you put the cage on there, everything becomes different. That it's unforgiving. The cage itself, the cold metal that you feel as it's bracing up against your face and you're being mushed in there. How do you prepare for that? How do you prepare? I got some of them outlaw gimmicks. How do you prepare for anything like that? You just can't. You got to do the best that you can do. And that's exactly what I went in there and did. But I wasn't fully ready because I was tricked. If I wasn't tricked and I knew what was going on, I would have won. I would have walked out there.
How did it feel to get fired? How did it feel to get fired after that match?
Force side of the building, might I add. It was pretty wild to witness in person.
So not only was I tricked into that match, but I was cheated. Because if we go back and look, who made their way inside the cage? The point of the cage is to keep people in and to keep others out. But the overboys want to stick their nose in my business, So once again, unfair. And then you want to talk about me getting fired? Fired? I've never been fired in my life. I walked out of there because I wanted to. Don't sit there and say I was fired.
Look,
Nobody fired Michael White. Nobody.
Well, my apologies. Look, you see, he was so distraught by his mistake that it booted him out of the lobby. So we're going to continue on, just us for now. So my apologies on that. But yeah, it was, you talk about the steel cage and the unforgiving, unrelenting nature of it. I mean, seeing the whelps on you guys' body after that match and the punishment that you guys put each other through. It was, again, despite the result, it was quite entertaining to witness in person in terms of like the history of 225. So, again, but further to prove the point of you being so intertwined in the history of 225. Now,
day one.
Yeah, since day one, absolutely. And we talked about that a little bit before about, your loyalties to 225 and, reasons we won't mention here, but reasons for that loyalty that you've had towards them, regardless of the fact of how they may treat you or how the fans may treat you. You stay there because you have been there since day one. And it's hard to argue that you're a pillar of that company. And without you, the foundation would not be there for what it is today. So, again, absolutely.
I'm so glad that someone finally recognized my greatness, because whenever you walk into a room of 600, maybe plus more people, damn near 1,000, and they want to sit there and boo you and treat you like you're some garbage. You know why I am the way I am? No love was ever shown, so no love is ever given. You feel me?
Yeah, absolutely.
No, Casey Jones, look at me. Do you feel me?
Yeah, I feel you.
All right.
And regardless of booing or cheering somebody, at some point you just got to respect great when it's great, and that's, let's talk about great. Let's talk about great, and let's talk about those 600, 700, nearly 1,000 fans you were talking about really letting you hear it. Let's talk about your return match that just happened at Super Gold, right? Big match against Christian Blake, who now is the only 2-time Super Gold winner, former 225 heavyweight champion. Another guy that's made his name in 225. I know. Talk to us a little bit about what it was like, not only for that match, but also a little bit about the victory, because on the other side of it, it is the spoils of the victor, right? So tell us a little bit about that match.
See how many fingers I'm holding up?
I do.
How many is that?
That's 7 right there.
That's 7. 7 times I've stepped in the Super Gold, and 7 times I walked out victorious. I'm undefeated at Super Gold.
Wow.
Did you think that was going to change because of Christian Blake? Because of Christian Blake? Get real. Yeah, you want to talk about the match? What you want to talk about?
I guess just tell us a little bit about, talk to us a little bit about the end result. And I guess it's about as good as time as any to ask, after this huge victory and after a 7-0 streak at Super Gold, I guess what's next for Michael White after this huge win over Christian Blake?
In order to get to that point of Christian Blake, a lot of people wonder why even any of this in the first place? Because after I lost, I went away for so long. But, as I was sitting back, relaxing, chilling, counting up, every now and then I would turn on the product, if you will, and I would see people like Blake and Jordan Jai and all these other people, all these people rise up who don't deserve it. I thought honestly, after the cage match, I could have walked away. I was done. Okay. I beat Wild Thing. I was the best SEC champion. Beat Mustang. Who else? I've beaten everyone. But then as I'm sitting back and I'm watching the rise of Christian Blake and all these opportunities he's getting. And it just so happens that as he's rising up, who's general manager? Who is it? Brett Landry, right? Right? So I just felt there was an injustice. I felt like I needed to come back. I felt that I need to get back in here because even though you may take me out 100 times, there's always 101 ways to get back in. And that's exactly what I did. I played the cards and I worked myself back in there and I wanted Christian Blake. I'm so happy that they let me back in. The same people that the same people that he swore to protect Pro Wrestling 225, all the fans, he swore to protect them from me and get rid of me. Those same people brought me back in because they wanted to see a match. How do you, the math isn't there.
Now, I do have to ask,
Hey, did my question come through? Did my question come through?
Well,
because I feel like my
hold on.
question got asked, and then somehow Michael got my internet kicked off because I asked him what it felt like to get fired. Is that what happened?
Well, and so I did get a notification that so Mike White's people contacted our people, that being me, and said that the question was a little insensitive. So we're already past it. It's fine.
All of a sudden I didn't have internet, so
we're gonna reel it back in. I'm not saying they flipped the switch and cut it or anything.
We paid for his time. I'm just checking.
Yeah.
We won't tell you who I'm dropping, but it starts with an O.
But it starts with an O. We won't tell you who though. All right. So Matt, now that you've graciously decided to rejoin us after Mike White's people have flipped it back on, allegedly, we did talk about the alleged firing that Mike White suffered, and we did just talk about his huge win over Christian Blake at the Super Gold Rumble.
How was that? Was that fun?
What was fun? Yeah. Beating Christian Blake? Of course
that's what I want to know because you come back out of the first match back, you go whoop Christian Blake. It's got to be a good time.
It's a wonderful time. It's an amazing time. And if you were here, you would have heard me say that.
He's right, Matt. If you were here, you would have heard. But
7-0, Matt. I'm 7-0 at Super Gold.
All right. I got you. So you own it. That's yours. Super Gold.
Whenever people think about Super Gold, they think about Michael White. Well, really, they think about more Michael White than anything else. But whenever you say Super Gold, it's like, oh yeah, Michael White's undefeated at Super Gold.
So what you were saying is when people think of Super Gold, and they might think of, obviously the easiest answer or the easy answer right now, other than the 7-0 there, would be Christian Blake winning it twice, or something like Wes Warren holding the record, or some of the other guys that may have won it. But you're saying, and I think I kind of agree with you, that by not mentioning your 7-0 at that event, it's really discounting you and your career and your winning record there.
Exactly.
And I think kind of maybe even discounting the event. We talk about streaks in sports when they happen, and at 10 of the events, you've won 70% of them and have lost 0. So that's a pretty huge number. I got to give you some flowers again. People are going to think I'm here as a Mike White fanboy instead of just a friend. But, like I said, you respect greatness when you see greatness.
Hey, it happens. It happens.
All right. So, you brought up Wild Thing, and you brought up how he's probably the biggest pain in your, what. Now, a lot of people were asking, because let's talk about another guy that was a little bit of a pain in your neck back in the day. You guys have been butting heads for probably most of, if not all, this decade that you've been at 225. But when it comes to your biggest rival in 225 that you've had, is it Wild Thing, or do you think it's Jordy? That's a tough one.
But you put, you lace up some boots and you get in the ring with Michael White and you found out, Wild Thing, it's like an origin story with that kid. It's like Wild Thing was my first wrestling match.
Yeah, because I was gonna ask too, as big as of rivals as you guys are, and as much as you butt heads, you're always going to be linked in your careers, regardless of whether you want to or not. Considering the fact that you guys basically, I don't want to say basically, but you guys broke in together. He was your first match. I mean, you like you said, you were there for some pretty big occasions for Wild Thing. So I guess I kind of assumed the answer would be Wild Thing, but I was there through a lot of the stuff that you and Jordy went through, and I just remember vividly how much you guys hated each other at one point.
Yeah, I do. I hate Jordy Pool Hole. That's what I call him. He used to claim to be my friend. A little fun story there. He was actually going to train to be a wrestler one time, and kid don't know what he's doing. Damn near broke his neck. So yeah, I was there for that too. I've been there for every big thing that has ever happened in pro wrestling of Louisiana, whether it be 225 or anywhere else. I've been there. I've been there for everything. Even though I may not be center stage, I may be off somewhere, but I've been there. I watched it, seen it.
You're always somewhere there. You're always lurking.
Oh yeah,
You
always.
gotta be ready to pounce at the right time. I respect it.
So
I
now that
respect
you're
it.
back,
Now,
where are you going next, Mike?
Brother, the sky is the limit. You know, there's a lot of things that I want to accomplish, even though, you know, this is probably, you know, a lot of people holding me down because they have over the years. I've never wrestled for a heavyweight championship. I've never wrestled for that title. At the time, I didn't want to because I was the greatest SEC champion of all time. That's my baby. That's my pride and joy. But if I had to say the future for Michael White is always unclear because every day is a new chapter that is freshly written. You know, I can sit here and plan for everything. You can plan. Planning is everything, but the plan is nothing. Franklin D. Roosevelt. But my future, I could sit here and tell you all day what my future is, but why tell you when you can watch?
so I do have to ask, though, journalistic integrity and all that. You mentioned the heavyweight championship. Are there championship aspirations? Because if I may interject, I apologize. I do have to say that there are a lot of guys in the Louisiana scene that don't need a championship to be at their peak. And you have proven over time that you don't need a championship to be at your peak in terms of what you can be out there in the ring. So I guess at this point, a 10-year vet, you've done almost everything there is to do in 225. I guess that was my next question is you've done all of it. So is that heavyweight championship that next aspiration, that next step? Even if the powers that be may want to hold you down, you know, like you said.
They do. Of course, I would want to be, you know, if you're not in this business for the main prize, and the main prize being the main title, the Pro Wrestling 225 title, then why are you even here in the first place? Yeah, I've accomplished many, many things without that title. But if you're not in this business working towards the main goal, and that is the main goal, that is the standard, that is the height, everyone who is somebody has held that title, because the title don't make the man makes the title. And that's exactly what I have been taught in anything. If you play video games, if you watch pro wrestling on TV, or you do anything, the main goal is that belt. So yeah, of course, why wouldn't I want that belt? I do want that belt. That's one belt that I've never held. Regardless of how I feel about the previous holders, the greatest hold that title. And I am the greatest. Not JTM, not Wild Thing, not any of these other wrestlers. I am the greatest. So that's the only thing that I haven't done. And just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean that it won't. Because one day it will. And I'm going to take that, that greatness, and I'm going to hold it even higher than what it already is. So yeah, Matt, I do want that belt. That is in my future. When is it going to happen? Don't know. Everybody keeps giving me I don't want to get into wrestler terms, but everybody keeps, holding me down because they know if they put me in that position, they know I'm going to win it, and they're never going to get it away from me. So instead of, hey, we'll give Michael title shot, we just won't give him none at all. We'll give our friends like Christian Blake title shots. You know,
So you're saying,
Speaking of friends, though, do you have any friends still at 225? Or are you rolling solo?
yes. No, first of all, shout out to the Crook Mob. And if you don't know about the Crook Mob, you need to educate yourself. Shout out to Thad. Shout out to
Yeah,
Bad
I didn't know
Business.
if you guys are still
hey,
rolling or not. I was just checking.
hey, shout out to Bad Business, bro. Shout out to Bad Business. And I'm not even joking. From the jump, I knew Bad Business before he was Bad Business, and I was there when he was crowned Bad Business. Shout out to that man. Absolutely.
Also, you want to talk about friends? Shout out to Mr. BRE himself, Big Ramp, which, by the way, me and him did a song together. You can get that on iTunes. Matter of fact, you can get all my music on iTunes if you want. iTunes, Spotify, Apple Music, whatever. Whatever you got, it's on there. YouTube. Matter of fact, the song that I come out to now, which is called Whoa by me and Big Ramp, we did that collab while I was gone, right? So whenever I came back, it's just best that I show some love to some people who actually know what the hell they doing. So shout out to Big Ramp. Shout out to the Crook Mob. That's all I need.
Yeah, and Big Ramp, I actually, I'm not gonna lie, I went and listened to your stuff today. And so Big Ramp, huge in the New Orleans scene for DJ, producing, rapping, all of that, dude. He's been doing that for what, 20, 25 years? Like,
It goes way back. That man walked out the womb with a microphone in his hand. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Since knee high, that boy been in there throwing down the songs, the producing. He done rubbed elbows with whoever. Like, name somebody. Name somebody right now. Name somebody.
I know he's rubbed elbows with Wayne. I know that for sure.
Baby, Slim, Manny, all them boys, all the New Orleans boys. He's a damn. I can't even get started on Ram. Okay,
Yeah.
we could do a whole episode about Ram. But shout out to Big Ram.
Well, it hasn't happened yet because he's a busy man, but Ramp's in the cards eventually one day for the show, so that'd be nice. Because as much as we love Ramp, and as much as Ramp has always been great to me, he's never been on any of our shows, which is just mind blowing to me. I don't know how we've let that happen, but I'm gonna clean it up. I'm gonna pick it up, and I got you, Ramp. I'll be hitting you up soon.
I'm pretty sure that has something to do with it.
He might. He might. Well, hey, look, we'll talk a little bit more about your music because that was on the notes that we were going to talk about. But like I said, I had you up. I had you pulled up. I listened to Born and Raised earlier. I had you on Whoa. I actually listened to Whoa a few times. This is a really did Big Ramp produce that as well? Did he make the beat?
No, I have a team for that. That's going to be Trap Team Beats out of Atlanta.
That beat was crazy, bro. That beat was crazy.
I linked up with them boys a long time ago, and man, they make some heavy hitters. And whenever I approached them, I said, "Look, man, I need a beat." That like they're big wrestling fans and stuff like that. I said, "Hey, bro, I need something that is going to get it live. That's going to get me right. I don't care about everyone else in the crowd. I need something that I can feel. You know, like I can sit there and play whoever songs, but it's definitely different whenever it's your own song, and you're in that. You just get in that mode." And then whenever I got the beat, I was like, man, I've been wanting to do a song with Big Ramp for so long. I had to reach out to him because if you want to make it hot, you get Big Ramp on your beat, straight up.
Yeah, bro, and he killed it with the chorus too. The chorus was great in that thing. It was a legit. I was listening to it. I was like, bro, this is really good. It was a good song, bro. I was really rocking with it.
Yeah.
All right, so let's switch up a little bit. Something to Matt will be a little more knowledgeable
I heard
on.
the song. I just agreed with Michael White that it works for him. But it doesn't work for me. That's all. That's all I was saying. I mean, I heard it. I put it up on the YouTube, and as you said, it doesn't matter if it doesn't vibe with the crowd. It just matters if it vibes him. So I'm glad that Michael likes the song.
Well, what are you over there listening to? Merle Haggard or George Jones?
Sometimes.
But say he might be. He might be.
You over there listening to Sabrina Carpenter?
No, come on now. I don't even know it's Sabrina Carpenter. Like, that's just a cute face that pops up in my Yahoo feed sometimes or whatever.
No, you probably over there jamming to like some Michael Bolton or something like that. Probably like turn off lights. You probably turn all the lights down in your house and like you get a big old bucket of chicken with some candles and everything. You're probably laying on the couch and lathering yourself, listening to Michael Bolton serenade you. Yeah, weirdo.
I'm loving this, bro. This is awesome. Well, look, let's talk about something Matt's gonna know a little bit more, and that's some of your favorites today. Now, I know that you don't have a lot of love for a lot of the guys in the 225 locker room, and you've already told us about the friends you do have there. But I'm talking more about the current product. I know surprisingly a lot of guys don't watch the current product outside of what they do in the companies they wrestle for. But if you had to pick some guys or women from some of the bigger companies, who are some of the people you like watching today?
See, I've always been a wrestling fan. You know, like even my earliest memories, I can remember. I grew up a WCW kid. You know, so they were bought out. So like, if we're talking about today, like man, everybody's gonna like say, "Oh, you're just saying that because he's popular." Like, dude, Cody Rhodes. Okay, I didn't mess with Cody Rhodes until he left. And even after he left, I was like, let's see what's going to happen. And then he joined Bullet Club. And then I was like, dude, like, I have always, like, everything that he's been in since then, I've enjoyed. Like, I wasn't a big fan of Bullet Club until Cody. Like, I went to New Orleans and watched him and Kenny Omega battle it out at Ring of Honor. I was there. I watched that.
I was too.
So he made Bullet Club cool for me. And then when he started AEW, I was like, man, I was straight AEW. I watched AEW. He made that product. And brother, whenever he left and went to WWE, I was like, all right, the product just went to shit. AEW is just absolutely shit. I will not sit there and waste my time watching AEW. And then whenever he went to WWE, I was like, man, I hope they do not wreck this boy. And they didn't. They treated him right, did the right thing. Certain product right now, if I had to say bigger talent and stuff like that, I mean, we can go on and on because I like so many people for so many different reasons. It's hard to say because I feel like a kid again, like there's so much talent here. But yeah, I do like to watch Cody. There's a lot.
Now, I will say, Matt earlier compared you a little bit to Dirty Dom. How do you feel about that comparison?
Well, first of all, look at Matt.
How did I do that? When did I do that?
Well, I wasn't saying, he didn't necessarily say looks. He just meant mainly in the way sometimes that you present yourself, that you don't really care about what the crowd thinks. Kind of march to the beat of your drum.
You started that cage match running for the cage. You're trying to climb it immediately.
Okay, wait. Time out. Think about that, Matt. Think about what the hell you just said. Okay. I was hurried up to get out of there. What is the point of the match?
I mean, I thought you'd want to, whoop on Wild Thing for a minute.
For what? I done beat him for titles and everything else. I done beat that boy 100 times. The main point of the cage match is get out the cage.
But you're not going to get out. All right. It just, I was waiting.
Well, if he climbs fast enough, and boom, he's out. And then I understand the viewpoint, right? It's like, why waste the energy and risk injuring yourself if you can just run for the cage and get out immediately? Like, I definitely understand the logic. Now, I do understand from Matt's point of view as well, like maybe wanting to put a beat down on Wild Thing.
Drop kick first, then you run for the cage.
Look, a year before that, I jumped off of there and went through a table. Okay, I was done with cage matches. All right,
That's
go
fair.
on my Instagram, go on YouTube. And find me jumping off that cage. I was over the cage, okay? I was ready to get in and get out.
PTSD
okay?
on the cage.
I don't get paid by the hour, okay?
That's
all right.
That's fair. That's fair. All right, so let's talk about. I was going to ask you about some of the guys you watched growing up, maybe, but let's kind of pivot a little bit. Let's go with a fan question. Our boy Donnie Tullier, however you want to say his last name. I've heard it said a million different ways. Our boy Donnie, he wants to know your Mount Rushmore specifically of promo guys. So guys who cut the best promos, could be past, present, future, whatever, or not future, but you know what I'm saying. It could be anybody, current, present, or in the past.
Best promo guys?
Correct. Yes, sir.
Michael White.
Okay. Are you doing yourself 4 times?
Nah.
Okay.
No. Best promo guys.
Mm-hmm.
Promos. Best talkers. I mean, hell, you got to give it up to Steve Austin, him up there. It's got to be somebody who really captivates you,
Mm-hmm.
Somebody who, you're flicking through and you see him and you're talking. Best talkers, Austin, my uncle, Jamie McKinnon. Best talkers, you got to put Flair up there
Mm-hmm.
because he can talk for days. And if I had to go with one more of all time, I got to go with Jake the Snake.
Ooh, really underrated pick. I like that. Hey, Jake, a guy that doesn't get a lot of love for what he did in the wrestling business, dude.
No, he doesn't.
It's fantastic. I like those answers. Great answers. And I mean, Steve Austin, Flair, obviously, but I love that you gave a few answers that some people might not have expected.
One more, Terry Funk.
Ooh, hey, rest in peace. Rest in peace. But yeah, another guy who maybe not like was underappreciated, but I don't think that people really the gravity of what he did in the business and how well he did it. He was just he was good at everything.
True.
All right, so people that are good at everything, you would probably consider yourself one of those people. Hard to argue with that. Talk about some of the people that maybe influenced a little bit of who Michael White is in the Pro Wrestling 225 universe today.
Like people that I've watched.
Sure,
Like,
yeah, people that you've emulated, yeah.
there's not a lot. I pride myself on being as original as possible. Anytime that I'm in the ring, anything that I'm doing, I try to do what other people do not do, because that's what's going to separate you. That's what's going to put you up there and what people are going to remember. I don't want to be remembered as like Wild Thing. Oh, he does the RKO. He calls it the Wild Style. Seen it before. Lame. Done 1,000,000 times. 100,000 super kicks have been thrown. All these other things have been done. So no, there may be people that I've watched in my younger years that I thought was cool, but no one really influences me. I try to be as original and to myself as possible.
And honestly, I expected nothing less from you. I almost said like excluding yourself, but that's about what I expected you to say, because like, you are original, dude. And again, what you've done in the wrestling business is unique and is something special. So agreed. All right, so let's talk about, and we're getting pretty close to wrapping up here because we almost are at our time limit that we've paid for.
I don't get
Let's
those
talk
minutes
about.
back.
We don't get the minutes back, unfortunately.
I think I should get
If you
some sort of
actually,
discount
if
or
you
something.
wanted, well, if you wanted, so I actually asked, and if you wanted to get those minutes back, we would actually have to recompensate. Like we'd have to pay more. So we'd have to pay double the rate since we already paid for the first booking. So unfortunately, we'll have to keep that time away. But another fan question: if you were to book yourself against one wrestler, alive or gone, who would it be? One guy. Who would Mike White want the marquee match against? Because I've got a few names that I think that, first of all, program between you and like Razor Ramon in his prime. Oh my gosh, you two on the mic against each other and then in the ring would be amazing. You and I'm trying to think of like, man, honestly, modern day, I'd love to see a guy like you and Kevin Owens, on the mic and then getting in that ring. You guys can both go. So, something that I thought about before. But yeah, who would you book? One person, Mike White.
For the greatest of all time. For the greatest match of all time. That's a tough one. Because who else? I mean, I can't wrestle myself. I guess I could. Honestly, modern day, I would have to say probably Cody, because I like Cody. If I had to go a little bit further back, Booker T. And if I had to go a little bit further back than that, I would probably want to face Sting.
I knew it'd be a WCW guy too, because I know you and Savage in his prime. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, you and Savage in his prime would be fantastic. That'd be a really good program. I'd like to see you mix it up with a lot of those guys, of course. But yeah, those are really good answers.
Booker T
really
would be a fun match. I think that'd be a fun match with
Yeah,
you, Michael. I think, you and Booker T could throw down.
Matt, me and you can throw down.
Well, and hey, we talked about this in the cage match a little earlier, but I don't think people realize how athletic you are as well. The athleticism that you have. I mean, if you go back and watch that steel cage match, you pulled out a moonsault in that match. And that was, it was pretty nice.
Like I said, I don't get paid by the hour. Sometimes I like to get a little fancy, a little razzle dazzle, but yeah, there's a lot I can do. I just don't feel like I need to gift it every time to these people that don't deserve it. Would you want to perform better at your job, knowing that everyone there fucking hates you? Anyone hates you?
No, I mean, probably not. It's hard to argue. If the whole crowd's against you, why would you want to do all the crazy special stuff that they like to see?
Right.
I get it. Like you said, not paid by the hour. You're there to get in and get out. And yeah, not paid by the hour here either, because we paid you for your time, but we're almost getting to that time. So before we let you go, Matt, is there anything else that you would like to maybe say or ask to maybe save face a little bit?
I just want to make sure we're getting the $2 back for that curse jar. That's all. I just want to make sure we're getting our $2 for that.
That's it, $2. I'm not broke, man. Give you $20.
Oh, shoot. Oh, man, you could have thrown all sorts of F-bombs on the show for $20. You should have told us.
Well, I mean, shit, we can start right now.
We can start right now. Well, hey, look. Well, for everybody to see that uncensored, unfiltered side of you, I know you're not on a lot of the socials, but including your music, where can people find you?
First of all, my music can be found anywhere. My distribution has it in any form. Anywhere you got music, I'm there. If you want to keep up with me, I do have a YouTube. You go to Michael White YouTube or Michael Whiteout. Same thing with my Instagram. I don't have Facebook. I don't have Snapchat. Like, I barely care about the people now. Why would I want to keep up and view whatever you're eating? Like, Sally, I don't care that you're having a steak tonight with cauliflower on the side, you know, nice little cream soda or whatever. I don't care. So, no, I'm not going to keep, like, I have a social media for my bookings so I can get that money and let you know what's happening. But I'm not going to keep up with nobody. I don't have, like I said, I don't have Snap, don't have Facebook. I don't have Twitter or X or whatever. You can find me at Michael Whiteout on Instagram. You can find me at Michael Whiteout on YouTube. You know, if you want to keep up, I really don't care, you know, because I'm not doing it for you. It's for me. So anywhere with the music, Michael Whiteout YouTube, Michael Whiteout Instagram. Matt, go ahead and follow, because I know you're not. Go ahead and follow, even if you do have social. I don't know what you do.
All right. Well, hey, look, Mike, I really appreciate your time. Again, I know you took time out of your very busy schedule to come sit with us today. And again, I really appreciate it. Matt, do you have anything you'd like to say before we head out of here?
I feel like he's trying to get me on the next card so he can ruin his gold streak, you know.
Oh, so next Super Gold 11, we're getting Matt and Mike?
That's 11, you're giving me a couple of years. You give me a couple. Next one's 10.
Well, no. He's 7-0, but there's been 10 events. So next year is the 11th event.
This was 10? Okay.
Yeah, this was 10. Yeah.
No, this was 9.
Oh, this was 9. That's my apologies. My bad. So, well, there you go. The 10-year Super Gold X. We get Matt versus Mike next year. We'll book it. We'll start talking to the people at 225.
Oh boy.
All right.
Matt, I can give you 100 years. You ain't never gonna be ready, boy. I'll tell you right now. But I tell you what, March 8th in Houma, I can see you there. If not there, I'll see you. What's the other one?
The show coming up April 5th.
Yeah. So 225 Mania. So yeah, how about you show up there? And then maybe we can do this in person. But make sure you buy a ticket, because ain't nothing free.
That's right. He has to get his share of the gate, bro. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we should be in the house for 225 Mania as well. We might need to buy a front row seat at that point. We might need to buy a front row if they're not already sold out. So if they're not already sold out, go get them now. You can go check out 225's Facebook page, and you can go through there and go check out all the fancy links. Go to the YouTube page while you're at it. Go check out all the Mike White matches that are on the 225 YouTube channel. To get yourself more familiarized with the man, Mike White. And again, Mike, thank you so much for stopping in today, bro. All right, we gotta let him get out of here because he's a very busy man. So until next time, this is Casey. That's Matt. That's Mike. I'm pointing a bunch of different directions because I don't know where they are on the screen currently. And until next time, this has been the Tailgate Kings, and we'll see you next time.
White out.